These are some of the best characters to only appear in one episode of Family Guy. There's nothing deeper to read into with Evil Stewie, a diabolical clone who hurt everyone in his path in the hand that rocks the wheelchair. So Stewie ends up getting pushed around by a bigger kid in the sandbox and decides to handle things in the most gentlemanly of ways.
Just get this little guy assembled.
You know how mad you have to make someone to have them use a rifle from point-blank range? Stewie's probably humming just to keep himself from beating the kid with the pieces.
All right, I think we're all set here.
Oof, Stewie's bound to be the laughingstock of the preschool branch of the NRA. But Brian brings up a good point about Stewie not really being the murderous type anymore.
I mean, when was the last time you tried to blow something up or take over the world or even use the phrase damn you?
What's it to you, Mr. Whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here? You try keeping a catchphrase afloat for 25 years. But Stewie figures out a way to get some of his edge back.
So I built a concentrated neural enhancement device designed to boost my evil side.
Good, good. Let the hate flow through you. Maybe it'll make him so evil that he grows a fifth finger he can use to flip people off with. But after giving it a try, Stewie's still the same old Stewie.
Look, your machine obviously didn't work.
Oh, just needs a few adjustments, that's all.
Oh, but it did work. It just instilled all of Stewie's evilness into a new color swap Stewie. He shall be called Eowets. Well, I'll keep workshopping.
What are you doing?
Don't tell me Brian owes that Stewie money too. When Stewie discovers what happened, he's thrilled to see his creation, but that all gets thrown out the window pretty quickly.
Evil Stewie, come with me. We're going to run a few tests on...
Yeah, I think Evil Stewie's the one who's gonna run some tests. For instance, what does a dog's tail taste like? Needs further testing. But now he's loose in the world and no one is safe from him.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah!
Hey, that guy had it coming for busting through millions of walls for the past few decades. You know he's never once footed the bill? So Stewie and Brian decide to lure Evil Stewie out with a trap at the park.
Well, this is a gift, Brian. Thank you for making it so easy.
Yeah, being tied up and shot is just what Brian's into nowadays. Luckily, Evil Stewie's happy to oblige without kink-shaming. So the two Stewies fight, wrestling for control over the weapon and slowly tearing each other's clothes off. See, if the clone had just done this from the beginning, Stewie probably would have liked him a lot more. But the weapon ends up in Brian's hands, which means he has to take part in the time-honored tradition of not knowing which is the real Stewie.
Oh, come on, not this thing, really?
Brian, it's me, Stewie. Shoot him! No, Brian, you know me.
But there's one thing the real Stewie has that the clone doesn't. Nonsensical childhood wonder.
Look at your feet.
Why? They're just feet. What are they doing down there?
Bingo bango. And with a well-placed shot to the chest, Brian puts an end to this whole nightmare. Stewie loves getting into fights with other kids, but he wasn't prepared for the ball of unmitigated chaos that was Evil Stewie. But if you're looking for a slightly less aggressive version of Stewie, look no further than his Bostonian counterpart that he tries to help get adopted in the aptly named episode Boston Stewie. So Stewie's enjoying rifling through Lois's mail when he comes across a letter from a fertility bank.
Thank you again for your compensated donation of 10 eggs in 1997.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta donate a part of your body to get through college. Eggs, blood, plasma, hair, kidneys, eyeballs, they're all on the table.
I have a lost half-sibling. He or she is just out there someplace.
Well, he already killed your other half-sibling, so I guess Stewie's gonna need to make sure he's the one and only baby genius. So he uses a DNA tracking system to locate his long-lost brethren somewhere in Massachusetts.
Someone sharing my DNA may well be a scholar at Harvard or MIT.
Or he could be a part of the New England Patriots football team. He could be the football. And when Stewie goes to find them, he's assured his sibling is a full-on Bostonian.
Eat my whiz, you Harvard fruit bags!
He was made with one of Lois's eggs, but somehow he's found a way to get a little bit of Peter in him regardless.
Yeah, my mom didn't like how I came out, so she left me in an orphanage, but nobody's adopted me, so screw that.
Hard to believe that. Who wouldn't want this bowl of clam chowder come to life? So Stewie shows him how he lives, but isn't prepared to handle his brother's New England forwardness.
No way, you got crazy straws?
Wait, no, those are the fat mans. He likes to pretend his juice is on a roller coaster.
But this kid was raised on the mean streets of Boston. He don't take nothing from no one, except for when he's taking something from someone.
How about I give you the belt? Yeah,
you heard it.
Take that! I'll drink out of any straw I want, you piece of crap!
Well, this blinding Boston rage may be of good use to Stewie after all.
Your new bedtime is whenever you want.
But though he may be rough on the outside, Boston Stewie actually yearns for the tenderness a mother can give.
You know, I always wanted to get adopted and have parents of my own. Heck, my old orphanage even has its annual adoption fair next week.
Well, with his current attitude, his only chance of getting adopted will be if a preschool needs to hire a bouncer.
I will teach you how to be a normal adoptable child.
Aw, dude, that's awesome.
Because if there's anyone who knows about normalcy, it's the British accented, flamboyant, mad genius baby. But even as something as simple as the ABCs might be too much for Boston Stewie.
A,
Okay, close. How about this one?
B.
You may as well skip C and D, you already know where those are going. Would love to hear what kind of swear he's got lined up for E though. So when the adoption day rolls around, there seems to be little hope for Boston Stewie.
Jets are a straight dog franchise, bro.
Look, being a Patriots fan is like a religion, and saying you're a Jets fan is like saying you're rooting for Satan.
I'm sorry. I really thought I could help you find a family of your own.
He just needs to find a mom as Bostonian as him. Or how about 7 moms?
You want to come live with us? We live near an overpass and we got lots and lots of D batteries to throw.
It's a match made in heaven, aka Fenway Park. And so Boston Stewie finally finds his forever home. You know, it's pretty refreshing to have a Stewie lookalike that's not trying to kill him for a change. But other creatures would try to kill Stewie, like Sheldon, a murderous turtle Stewie brings home and Lois comes out of her shell. So while at the park with Stewie, Lois is feeling young and spry and ready to play.
Here we go. Get ready for blast off. Oh, son of a...
What's another bump on the baby's head? It's not like you can screw him up even more, right?
What the deuce? Well, hello there. I say, you're a cute little fellow.
Sure, if you find pruny and shriveled up dinosaurs cute. Move over, Brian. Looks like you got some competition now.
I like you. I can tell we're going to be good friends.
So Stewie adopts Sheldon, or kidnaps him from his home. That's probably more accurate. But not long after, suspicious things begin to occur.
Rupert, what happened to your eye? Brian, did you pull one of Rupert's eyes off?
No, why would I do that? Maybe your turtle did it.
Come on, look at that wrinkly, scrunched up face. Does Sheldon look like the kind of guy to rip you limb from limb and remove your eyeballs? So that's a yes. But he's just a turtle. How bad can he really be? Well, hello there, Satan. Wasn't expecting to see you here today. And not long after, his actions start to get more and more demonic.
Ah, paper cut! A razor blade? Who the hell uses a razor blade as a bookmark?
Look, it was either that or a lit stick of dynamite. You take what you can get.
Very funny, Stewie.
What?
I mean, what? You replaced my Jack Daniels with flat Diet Coke.
Huh, I may actually be on Sheldon's side now. He's actually doing Brian, and by extension the rest of the world, a favor.
But I'm sure there's a perfectly logical explanation for those things. Sometimes...
So it's been the bookshelf this whole time? I mean, we all just saw it dive for Stewie. You see, this is why I don't read. No books means no bookshelf means me no get squash. But later that night, it all starts to become clear to Stewie.
Well, long as I'm up, I might as well go spit in Lois's mouth.
Nice throw. If the whole murdering thing doesn't work out, get this turtle an MLB contract immediately. There's only one way to get rid of an errant animal in your house. Flush it down the toilet. Although this now increases the chances of returning as a Ninja Turtle. But who needs ninjutsu when you've got pure, unfiltered reptilian rage? And Sheldon is ready to take that rage out on Stewie any way he can.
Magnolia cupcakes.
Rupert! Oh my god!
Relax, Stewie. It's probably just one of those is-it cake kind of situations. Why don't you go ahead and take a bite out of your friend's head and find out. But when Sheldon slowly makes his way back to the Griffin house, Stewie is ready.
Well, look who has surfaced.
So Stewie and Sheldon fight it out, with Sheldon finding a moment to slip away, but Stewie manages to catch up. Cause, you know, he's a turtle.
Now batting, Stewie Griffin.
Do you see how much Sheldon hates Stewie? Turtles aren't supposed to be able to remove their shells, but Sheldon did it purely out of hatred. He's easily a Hater of the Year award contender.
Ugh, you look like a nude Larry David.
And just like Larry David, Sheldon gets beaten in a pretty pathetic way.
Oh my god, Super Mario! What are you doing here?
I jump on a turtle, Stewie.
You couldn't have shown up any sooner? You should have gotten to him when he still had his shell, so you could have gotten infinite one-ups. Sheldon is yet another one-off enemy of Stewie's, but he'll be remembered for being bloodthirsty right out of the gate without any real personal motivation. Sometimes you just want to kill. Is that really such a bad thing? Well, it is if you're trying to kill Natalia, the Griffin's Belarusian nanny, who ends up protecting Stewie from an army of hitmen in the episode Nanny Goats. So Lois's parents are appalled to see their house in a disastrous state because of Peter and his goats. That's right, he has goats now.
You need help, Lois, and since I don't believe in psychiatry, I'm getting you a nanny.
Why can't they handle this like other adults do, by hiring a hitman to kill the husband and collect the life insurance money. But I guess nannying is the way to go for now.
Is this the Griffin house?
Welcome to this work environment.
Sorry, but a young woman like that is not built for this family. They need someone with the kind of strength that comes from pulling a plow in the field like an ox.
Hello, I am Natalia. What is favorite breakfast fish?
I didn't even know that was a thing. Is it just as unpleasant as it sounds? Anyway, Natalia seems to slide into her role fairly well, even if it means she'll be leaving behind a little bit of mental scarring.
Next book. Everybody poops. Blood.
That's a real page-turner. Heard it even got one of those Oprah Book Club stickers. She may be unconventional, but her results speak for themselves.
Everything taken care of. Go out, enjoy American freedom.
Who would have thought that having a healthy home would lead to a happy relationship? I know, me neither. It just doesn't add up. And as Peter and Lois grow closer, they decide to make a late-night drunk decision.
You come in late last night drunk and tell me to pack car for weekend getaway you book online.
Those are always the best trips. The ones that only sound appealing when you're blitzed off of 10 margaritas. So while they're away, Natalia will look after the children, which may be difficult considering she's currently being hunted.
I'm sorry, what?
Natalia make a few enemies before she leave Belarus.
And we aren't talking about simple tax collectors. You think she was John Wick the way the guys are shooting up the place.
Brian?
Lock door.
Why would I?
Brian!
Rub some dirt in it, you'll be fine. But Natalia needs to make sure she can secure the other children.
No kissing, under bed.
Yeah, they might need to start believing in psychiatry if they want to work through whatever the heck's going on there. But with mercenaries on their tail, they're gonna need a getaway car.
Out.
Boy, that was a close one. Ah, my son was in the back seat.
Excellent, he'll make a fine human shield. Hopefully you remember to wear a seatbelt. Okay, she may actually be John Wick, but she needs to divert the hitmen away from here, so she decides to take to the skies and have Stewie parachute home.
Where are we going?
You going home. Count to 3 and pull cord.
You're putting a lot of faith into the fact that you believe this 1-year-old knows their numbers, but Stewie manages to make it home safe and sound.
Again!
And that's the last we ever see of Natalia, who is no doubt fighting off the Belarus hit squads to this day. Hopefully she'll find her way back to the family, especially to stop that whole kissing junk between Meg and Chris. Oh yeah, and I guess Brian's just dead now. Whoops. But Peter would try to prepare himself for Brian's eventual death by adopting the happy-go-lucky dog New Brian in the episode The Man with Two Brians. So New Brian gets introduced after Peter performs one of his trademark stupid stunts.
Believe it or not, it's just...
Just a few more concussions and he'll be mentally fit enough to get into politics. Ha, bam! Vague political commentary. But Brian notices Peter is seriously hurt, so he dives in to help him.
Oh, my back! I can't move!
Oh sure, take all the attention away from Peter. Can't have anyone drown to death without Brian making it all about himself. Luckily for them, the guy whose legs don't work is more athletic than both of them combined.
I thought I was gonna die.
So that was almost the end of both of them, and Lois realizes that Brian probably can't handle all this excitement.
Why do you think he almost drowned? He's old, Peter. Plus he drinks and he smokes all the time.
Yeah, being 8 years old pretty much means you're on death's door as a dog. Too bad there's no doggy social security.
Brian's getting old. He's not the dog he used to be, and I'll have to get used to it.
But by get used to it, he means taking steps to soften the blow when Brian eventually does kick the bucket.
Family, I'd like to introduce New Brian.
Hey, gang!
Very creative name, Peter. Can you imagine if your parents named you John and then named your brother Cooler John? Kind of feels like what's happening here.
I can't believe you got a new dog. What about me?
Hey, you're still my buddy.
Yeah, just ignore the fact that Peter's probably already started digging you a grave in the backyard. Could be any day now, you know? But it looks like everybody seems won over by New Brian's niceness.
I checked the time your alarm was set for, and I shut it off. I figured this might be a more gentle way to start off the day.
I know this episode came out in 2008, but New Brian almost has an AI-generated air of kindness to him. Like he just tells you everything you want to hear. But this shtick even works on the guy he'll eventually replace.
And I got you this bag of I don't smoke it myself, but I sure won't judge you.
Gosh, thanks.
Easy, Brian. He could be setting you up for a police raid. I see through his kindness, and so does Stewie.
He's your replacement.
Oh, come on, that's ridiculous.
You're getting old, Brian, and they know it.
Fearing Stewie might be right, Brian tries to remind the family of how much they love him by showing them some old home movies. Surely no one can resist the godly cuteness of Puppy Brian.
Oh, look at him sleep.
Look, if you can't win them over with puppy videos, it might be over for you. Time to pack it up.
Everyone, I have an announcement to make. I've decided I'm leaving.
He's really making a show of it too. We all know you don't have enough belongings to fit inside 2 suitcases.
Well, We're gonna miss you, Brian.
But they won't miss him enough to really stop him from leaving, though he's not going very far anyway.
You know, I appreciate you letting me stay with you, but I'm perfectly capable of going to the bathroom by myself.
Yeah, but you've never seemed capable of picking it up after you're done. Glad someone's finally holding him accountable, but Stewie still hasn't been sold on new Brian, so he tries to get under his skin with a timeless gag.
Cool Whip. I'm putting emphasis on the H.
Sounds right to me.
Nothing ever bothers you, does it?
Not unless something bothers you. Then he'd do everything in his power to make things right. I'm sorry, were we supposed to not like this dog?
Brian, you gotta come back.
Why?
Because new Brian is such a tool.
Yeah, but tools are actually useful. Maybe Brian should have been acting more like one rather than a screw.
I'm not going back as long as that new dog is there. As long as he's a part of that family, there's no place for me.
Well, you may get your wish granted sooner than you realize. So Stewie tries to get new Brian to leave, but he's too well liked by the family to just pack up and go.
Well, Rupert seems to like my humping.
What did you say?
Rupert. Humped him for 2 hours yesterday.
Well, would you look at the clock? It's time to take out the trash. And with new Brian mysteriously gone, there's finally room for the OG Brian to return. New Brian's a friendly reminder that anyone who acts that nice is probably hiding a darker side to them. Not saying you should chop them up and throw them in the garbage, but I'll let you make that judgment call when the time comes. But Peter's sister Karen would open a window to Peter's past suffering as a kid, leading him to standing up to her one-on-one in the ring in the episode Peter's Sister. So it's almost Thanksgiving, and Peter receives a letter from his mystery sibling.
Peter, you got a letter from your sister Karen.
What? You've got a sister, Dad? How come we've never met her?
Everyone's got that one family member nobody talks about. For me, it's my Uncle Clamson. We could forgive him after the first war crime, but after the second one, we decided it was probably wise to stop inviting him to get-togethers.
I don't want Karen here.
Peter, you've been avoiding your sister for too long.
Yeah, a 5-second vibe check instantly makes you understand why.
Hey, Karen. Welcome to our...
Bring it in, PP!
Face farting is a family tradition in the Griffin household. Everyone seems to love the addition of the pro wrestling Karen to the holidays, except for Peter and his most sensitive areas.
I'll punch him in the nuts.
Peter tells Lois that Karen bullied him his entire childhood, but she thinks he's just being a big baby about everything. I don't know, that wasn't even a playful tap to Peter's crotch. That was a full-on uppercut.
Can't you just go out there and pretend to have a good time?
Fine, I'll play along.
But Karen is quickly showing that she wears the pants in their relationship. And the last thing you want to see is Peter without pants.
Okay, let's just carve the turkey.
Oh, and Karen already carved it.
She did? But that's my thing.
You snooze, you lose, pal. The turkey snoozed, and that's how he ended up splayed on the table to begin with. And Peter's manhood isn't even safe on the backyard football field. I'm no sports professional, but I think choking the life out of someone counts as unnecessary roughness. Well, at least it can't really get any more embarrassing than this.
Oh.
Dang, usually the pants peeing comes after the traditional 47 Thanksgiving beers. I'm fine with the holiday schedule changing. An emailed memo would have been nice though. But Meg seems to be the only one to take pity on Peter.
Even I can see that your sister's a huge bully. And trust me, I know more about getting bullied than anyone.
Really? The most liked member of the family knows what it's like? Frankly, I find that hard to believe, Meg.
I know you can stand up to Aunt Karen. And maybe, if you finally do, she'll stop terrorizing you.
And there's only one way to stand up to your abusive sister.
I am gonna become a lady wrestler and defeat Heavy Flow in the ring.
Wait, what? No!
Sorry, Meg, he's already ordered his singlet and wig on Amazon. So Peter decides to meet Karen in her place of work to take her down for good.
I'm here to kick your ass.
Get out of here! I'm not fighting some fat loser from the crowd.
If only she knew that fat loser was her brother. That's the power of lucha masks. No one can tell who you are. Still never found out who that Mr. America guy was.
Ow! Damn it, Karen!
Karen? Peter, is that you?
Well, now the mask feels kinda pointless, doesn't it? Now aware this is a sibling smackdown, the two fight until both are left battered and bruised, and Karen eventually gets the upper hand.
Tell Stewie he's in charge of the show now.
Actually, not a bad idea. Maybe we should just let Karen kill Peter.
Say hello to Teen La Cuifa!
Okay, and now this wrestler who wasn't even in the match is the champion now. Pro wrestling makes no sense. I love it.
And I couldn't stand by and watch you get hurt.
Wow. Thanks, Meg.
And this whole problem even makes Peter realize that he's been projecting the pain Karen inflicted on him onto Meg all these years later.
I guess I was taking out all the pain I felt on you.
I understand. Better than anybody.
I don't think that means he's gonna stop, though. He's got appearances to keep up and whatnot. Still, seeing Peter get a taste of his own medicine is a bit sickly satisfying, and Karen made for a great villain. Wonder if we'll see her in a future episode after she gets out of the hospital.
No, I think I'm a different blood type. No, I don't want to check. Doctor says there's nothing they can do.
And when Stewie and Brian don't want to do anything in the episode Quagmire's Baby, they decide to turn to two grossly constructed clones that live to please. They just don't live very long. So Stewie's looking to do some errands with Brian, but Brian wants to reschedule for another day.
Cancel my Tuesday appointments.
Sure thing, Stewie. You want me to move it to another day?
Usually you're supposed to keep your gremlin-looking twins locked up in the attic, but Stewie's just flaunting his around.
I felt like I needed some kind of an errand boy to do all my nitpicky pain-in-the-arse stuff, so I cloned myself.
But not an exact clone. The other Stewie has a certain, well, I'll be nice and just say he has a uniqueness to him.
How do you do? Pleased to meet you. I'm Bitch Stewie. He's got quite a grip.
He's got quite a lot going for him. The lazy eye, the disheveled hair, the unkempt clothes. Stewie may have set the dial a little too far in the simpleton direction, but this Stewie can help with anything.
I'm just making sure Stewie is nice and clean for his trip to the playground this afternoon.
Nothing weird here, just cleaning your own back with a little crimes against humanity sprinkled in for good measure.
This is really weird. I mean, it's one thing to have him help you out with a busy schedule. It's another thing to let him wash your back.
Spoken like someone who's probably a little jealous they don't have a dumb clone they can boss around.
I don't suppose you'd consider making one of those for me, would you?
Oh, maybe.
But cloning is no easy feat. Stewie's gonna have to ask for something pretty substantial in return.
Lightly grip the base of your tail with your index finger and your thumb, and then slide your fingers up the length of your tail.
So this is the cost of progress. Whatever. Brian's done a lot more for a lot less.
Give me a little smile. Your lips look a little dry. Why don't you wet them a little bit?
Sure, he could have just asked for money, but something like this? It's just simply priceless.
You're so weird. All right, I'll make you a clone, buddy.
And Stewie does make good on his promise, but man, he really must have cranked up the dum-dum ray on this one.
Hi, Brian. You got some stuff you want me to do for you? Oh my god.
But hey, you don't need brains in this world, just a can-do attitude and control over your bowels.
Brian, I can't go to the bathroom by myself. Will you please help me? But I'm good at other stuff.
Okay, maybe they can figure out how to make it work with 1 out of 2 requirements.
I sharpened a pencil in my bum and now I need a band-aid.
Sounds promising. There's still plenty of time for him to figure things out.
I think my jaw is falling off. Stewie, what is happening to this thing?
Yeah, so it turns out hastily cobbled together clones aren't exactly the most stable. But they do have this pretty neat trick where they can instantly turn into a puddle of viscera.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen to me.
Well, experiment over. But at least they've left them with some fond memories and a nice snack for Brian.
I'm not proud of this, but I need to lick that up.
But Brian would almost meet a similar fate himself when Stewie started hanging around Penelope, a devious little girl who may actually be more diabolical than Stewie in the episode Mr. and Mrs. Stewie. So Stewie finds himself getting treated like dirt in the sandbox.
Excuse me, I didn't bring any of my toys. Can I play with some of yours?
No! Mine!
Normally a pathetic display like that wouldn't attract the attention of a girl, but Stewie's luck is on the up and up.
My name's Penelope. What's yours?
Stewie, I've never seen you around here before.
Penelope just rolled into town, and like Stewie, she's always in the mood for some casual infanticide in the park.
Would you like a piece of candy?
Look, I'm not gonna say the kid deserved it, but the sandbox may have instantly become a nicer place. So Stewie and Penelope begin to hang out more, finding they have a lot more in common besides their age and affinity for the British accent.
What's this on your Etch-a-Sketch?
Oh, those are some advanced mathematical formulas I've just been tinkering with.
I wish there were a locker nearby I could stuff you in, nerd. But not only is she into math, but science too. Specifically, the kind of science that makes weapons of mass destruction.
You've got a weapons room too? And look at the size of it, it's amazing!
Stewie's either met his match or the love of his life. Maybe both? Those relationships always turn out fun. But when conversation turns to Penelope's mother, we find out she's done something Stewie hasn't done.
Did you kill her?
Well, I held the knife. And her hair.
Huh, maybe Stewie should have tried that instead of building mind control devices and laser guns. Sometimes a knife just makes right.
I feel like I may have finally found, in you, my one true soulmate.
No, those aren't wedding chimes you're hearing in the air. It's the sound of every emergency alarm bell in the world ringing.
We blew up the Great Wall of China, bombed the Eiffel Tower, and look at this note I sent off. Dear Pakistan, up yours.
It's one thing to destroy all these countries and landmarks, but do you have to be so mean about it? But of course Brian has to go and be a party pooper about all this.
It's you and Penelope who've been doing all these horrible things.
So, I've always been about world domination.
Yeah, but your passion's been more about funny wigs and dress-up recently. When was the last time you even said victory shall be mine?
She's a bad influence on you and you should stop spending time with her. I shall do no such thing.
But like a lot of relationships, it comes down to an ultimatum. Her or the dog.
Then swear on that love that you'll do what I ask.
Just name it.
Kill him.
You know this is the same baby that couldn't even kill his mother, right? What about him makes it sound like he's equipped to kill his best friend?
It appears I'll have to kill him myself.
What?
I knew you were too weak to do this.
Hey, that's your weak and pathetic boyfriend you hope to spend the rest of your life with. I know we're talking about killing someone, but you gotta play nice.
I've got a package here for Brian Griffin.
Oh, that's me. Brian, no!
Oh, so they're selling bombs on Amazon now? Oh, Bezos, you little rascal. But this is Penelope's doing, and she's here to finish the job.
Stewie, she's 1 year old. I think I can handle this myself.
Don't worry, Brian. We'll find a weaker toddler for you to beat up next time. So Stewie and Penelope duke it out with lasers, complete with shrink rays and bubbles. Kids just love their bubbles, don't they? Their fighting ends up landing them on the back of a truck, where Stewie manages to get the upper hand.
Stay away from my dog.
Very well, Stewie, I shall.
And just like that, Stewie says goodbye to every boy's dream. A girl to be mean to him and beat him up. It's always nice to see Stewie meet his match with an equal like Bertram, but having his rival also be his love interest definitely leads to some fun lover squirrels. And we move from Stewie's soulmate to Brian's, as he goes from hating an old woman named Pearl and Brian wallows and Peter swallows to eventually loving her before her death. So Brian's finding himself unable to connect with the young girls he tries to date. Shocker, I know.
You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Well, sure I do. Opera's
Hey, no lies detected there. Maybe this airhead does have something up in there other than helium.
Brian, you're home early. What happened with your date?
Same thing that always happens. She was an idiot.
You're no prize-winning Fido yourself there, Bri. You should hit up the dog park and get back to smelling butts. You know, the way we all date. But instead, he just decides to get depressingly hammered at the Laser Rock show, followed by some responsible drunk driving.
Me and the boys were just,
Whoa, you're off the meter, Brian. You're under arrest.
Really? You're gonna arrest the dog that breathes fire? You need to take him on the road. The Renaissance fairs will love him.
In lieu of jail time, I sentence you to 100 hours of community service.
So he's saddled with an old woman named Pearl Burton. And judging by the warm welcome she gives him, I think Brian would rather skip the jail time and go right to the firing squad.
What the hell is this?
Delousing powder. Everyone on the outside is filthy.
And a fun fact about delousing powder. It burns like hell if you get it in your eyes. At least you warned him.
By the way, it's been 30 seconds.
And the rest of their time together goes about as well as you'd expect.
What is this, snack soup?
Tomato bisque.
What is this, diarrhea soup?
I'm sure Brian would be more than happy to poop in your soup if you really wanted. But after enough psychological torture, Brian just decides to call it quits.
That's it! I have had it with you, you old hag!
Hey, this is nothing that can't be quelled over a nice bowl of diarrhea soup.
Why don't you do the world a big favor and drop dead?
But Brian has a change of heart when he catches a TV documentary about Pearl.
We now return to E's Mysteries and Scandals. Pearl Burton, the Jingle Queen.
Pearl?
Thank you, well-timed context machine. So yeah, Pearl was apparently a famous jingle singer, but when she tried to break into the opera, she was rejected and walked away from the limelight.
No one has seen Pearl Burton since that fateful night over 30 years ago. She's presumed dead.
Well, if she happens to follow Brian's advice, she may go from presumed to confirmed.
Pearl!
Luckily, Brian's used to being walked over all his life, so being a step stool just came naturally to him.
I heard you sing Habanera. You were sublime.
You liked my aria?
Well, I think he was talking about your opera singing, but I'm sure your Aria Grande covers are good too. So it turns out they actually have quite a bit in common, and Brian's feeling a spark he's never felt before.
I'll see you tomorrow.
But you're not scheduled tomorrow.
I know.
And Brian wants to share Pearl's excellence with the rest of the world, but she's hesitant.
I haven't left this house in such a long time. I'm afraid.
Oh, it's not so bad. The robots haven't risen up and exterminated us yet, so there's plenty to do and see before that happens.
There's so much you've missed in the last 30 years. In fact, allow me to fill you in.
And he does that with a little song about all the changes that have happened over the decades, the good and the kind of questionable.
A man could mingle with scores of all the seediest. Well, now his children can too.
And really, who could say no to the elegant pipes of Seth MacFarlane? I'd probably go to war for him if he commanded me with a catchy show tune.
You've got a lot to see.
Though he probably should have led with the importance of looking both ways before crossing the street.
I wouldn't be standing here right now if it wasn't for you.
Well, congrats, Brian. Now she's dying. Despite this little inconvenience, Pearl assures him that this was the best day of her life.
I only wish we could have a little more time together.
We can.
Do you really want the last thing she sees to be VR chat? It's like you're trying to speed up the dying process, but actually it allows them to experience an entire lifetime together, giving her one last happy moment before she eventually passes.
Goodbye, Pearl.
Pearl may very well have been Brian's soulmate, considering how selfless he was around her. Wonder why he decided to stop doing that and just go back to bimbos. Is there a one-off character we missed? Let us know your favorites down in the comments, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to help the Sweaty Clam channel grow.